Dorkos and Weirdoz.
Welcome to the Dorkos and Weirdoz podcast, the show where we talk to creatively strange, nerdy people. I am your host, Kai Jordan. Today, this is our third episode. Depending on when this is uploaded, we'll see where it goes from there. My guest today is a friend that I've known at least like very recently. Someone I've met through working on behind the scenes on a play, and we just linked with each other immediately because we both had a very similar passion for voiceover. Special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Victoria Aristea. You can find me on all the social media. I'm actually very happy to be here. Me and Kai have been friends for, I want to argue, 2 years because we met in the spring of I want to say Little Shop of Horrors musical. I'm pretty sure. Was it Little Shop of Horrors?
Yes, that was the exact play that we were helping out on.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. I was a dresser and stagehand, and you were stagehand, right?
Yeah, I was stage runner. That was the thing.
Runner.
My thing my my responsibility was carrying the heavy shit and making sure that things were just exactly right. And I also had the responsibility of moving the clock, but we could never get it right in sync, so we just said fuck it. The clock is just there. Whatever.
Yeah, and I was a dresser, and we had these three girls, the doo-wop girls, like the backup singers.
Yeah.
And these ladies were so sweet, but under
Yeah.
pressure, one of them was just very, very anxious because they had like what 3.5 quick changes,
Yeah.
and it was me and this sweet old lady, Darla. We'll call her Mama Darla.
Mhm. Of course.
And oh my God, I had to prepare. Do you remember those disgustingly green sparkly dresses with the blue gloves and the blue feather boas?
Barely, but try to recount the memory for me. Maybe it'll come back.
Oh, well, it's at the finale where they're like changing into the big finale scene,
Uh-huh.
and the Audrey and Audrey 2 has just eaten everybody,
Yeah.
and basically the girls had to go from these pinup girl. They're like puffy dresses. Like if you think of like a 50s style pinup dress, it was like that, where it had like the undercoat and they were fluffy and there was a lot of layers. So we had to zip them out of all of that, strip them down, and then we had like this little corner, this station, if you will, where they had to bolt over, and their dresses were in like like it was like a machine, and they had to step into the dresses and shimmy themselves into it. I had to zip, and while they were putting on their gloves, I was strapping on their heels, and as soon as I was done with their heels, I had to put on their new wig, and then I had to go fetch the boa, wrap them in a boa, and then touch up the next girl.
Mhm.
And I had to do this in maybe, if I'm being generous, 20 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
If
That
I'm
was
being very generous.
yeah.
And I was sweaty, like, what? Oh my God. Ah, Darla is my savior. But anyway, those girls always got on stage without a hitch. It was always good. And uh, it was really stressful, but I really appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That was the other thing. That was also a class for me. I had to take notes of everything because I had to write a really detailed essay after the thing was over. The
And I
thing
took
was
that class too.
Yeah. And with the in regards to that, while we're on the topic of theater and such, knowing your love for theater, musicals and whatnot, because I've been in enough conversations to like see you just like go ham and like, oh my god, Hamilton, you guys, you gotta check this out. Oh my god. And I gotta wonder, like, what has been your best and worst experience watching a live show before COVID, obviously.
Oh, okay. So my best experience, are we talking like professional or something that I was a part of?
Either or, like either behind the scenes, something you watch, something you've been a part of, either is fine.
Okay, my worst. Let's start with that.
All right.
The last musical I was a part of was the spring musical last year, called Bright Star,
Mhm.
and the actress that I was assigned to, and she was the main character who had to basically time travel between the 20s and 40s,
Right.
because the show kind of does these flashbacks until the flashback is concurrent with um our other protagonist. and ultimately, sorry, I'm going to spoiler alert, the mom finds her son, and it turns out her son is working for her in the publishing office that they both work at. And ultimately, the flashbacks kind of lead up to that. But in these flashbacks, we had quick changes, obviously. And they needed someone, obviously, I had a little bit of a reputation that, like, hey, you need to do this because you're actually good at it. Thank you so much. See you later. I was like, okay, sure. It was really flattering because I was invited back. Anyway, so it was like choreographing a dance. I promise you, you will never find anything more stressful in terms of quick changes in a musical unless you're like in a show like The King and I or Anastasia. Anyway, so there's this one scene where she and the character where the main character and her significant other get intimate, and she has to slide off of a platform, undress, and get into a different outfit, same time period. And as soon as she changes, she has to walk back on, kind of like a boomerang. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So she's sliding on this platform, and what I have to do is I have to tell everybody to get out of my way, like be away from this angle, like from this, like, I want to call it a track, but it's not like the track in like the sense where you pull something. It's like a runner's track. Like there's like a lane, y'all need to get out of it. So so she bolts off of the platform, and then that I timed it. She bolts off the platform, zips. She's in the middle of unzipping herself. She drops her outfit. Obviously, she's got bloomers on, so it's not a big deal. So I literally, you know how like you pull on your pants to pull them back up? I pulled that ish right up for her. I zipped her up, tied her bow in the back, and then shoved her.
Okay.
Like not literally shoved her, but I ushered her back to let her know she was ready. And that shit, my hands were shaking, and that took me 8 seconds.
Wow.
Like that is my fastest quick change, and I am so proud of that. And it was smooth like butter because what we did is before every show we spend a half hour rehearsing.
Yeah.
And if we needed to change anything, if there was something that was added from the costume department, we would have to rehearse those things. Or kind of like a fight call. Like if there's something where that includes combat, you usually rehearse the combat before the show, so that way it's fresh. And then a little bit after that scene, she has to time travel into the quote unquote present.
Yeah.
And so the same dress that I just zipped her in, I have to zip her out, and I have to put her in this purple jumpsuit. And this is where it gets worse. I was shaking so much, and this blazer was a button up. I buttoned her freaking blazer one button too high. So she went out looking like a hot mess. And I was so embarrassed. And this is a live show. It wasn't a dress rehearsal.
Oh, no.
She literally goes out like a hot mess. And she's like, it looked like she was coming out of forgive me, but it looked like she was coming out of a dick appointment. I'm sorry. Like it was entirely my fault. Like her makeup was fine, her hair was fine, earrings, glasses, perfect. But then her blazer, and I felt so bad. I was so embarrassed. I was literally about to cry.
Oh.
Oh God! Any techies or dressers out there will know. Like I'm probably just complaining, but like, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, but that was the worst thing that happened. The worst and best thing.
Okay.
So I guess 2 birds, 1 stone.
All right. Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's so thing about that. Like especially because I felt fortunate. Like my job was just to make sure. The only worst situation that happened, like thankfully, the only bad thing that ever happened was during technical rehearsal or whatever. We had to, because when we were working on Little Shop, the voice of fucking Audrey too, very talented singer by the way. He had
Yeah,
to.
he is amazing.
Yeah, and we were trying to work on a way to, like, we had to transport him up and down for that, the big bow. So he was down.
Right.
So there was an elevator at the backstage. My responsibility was to make sure that I brought him up. During one of the technical rehearsals, the elevator wouldn't fucking open. like on time. Like, okay, so because originally I was like, okay, exit the elevator, try to get him out of there. So originally I walked out of the elevator and walked him out to the elevator and just guided him up. That wasn't a good idea because the elevator would sometimes just close and just not open. So I just went in the elevator and I held the whole fucking thing with sheer willpower until he got over here. So thankfully we got it on time. So
Oh my gosh.
hopefully I
I
didn't break it.
vaguely remember that. I vaguely was like, "Wait, where's Audrey 2? Oh my
Yeah.
god."
Yeah.
And then oh shoot. Oh man. Good times. We love the theater.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever we book those things, especially like, oh god, or even when yeah, whenever we book those missions and when we were able to go to them before COVID hit. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so sad because I was supposed to be a dresser for Pippin, which was this year's musical. And once COVID hit, like I tried to talk to the um oh my god, what Steers,
yeah.
who's the head of the tech people. And I emailed him saying like, hey, I know I have to fill out some forms and submit my fingerprint because there were minors in the show, and I'm an adult, and because as a dresser, I'm more liable if something were
Yeah.
to happen. And so just to prevent that, background check and all that, blah blah blah. And I had to submit all this paperwork, but he wasn't sending me the paperwork. And then I was like, hello?
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and I was like, "Is this happening?" Like, what?
Yeah.
And it just totally fell out. Like nobody got back to me, and I just assumed, you know what? W- And if even if there were to be a show,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That was a similar situation with us, like, because I'm a part of as of recording this, I'm a part of I'm one of the extras in a play for, Canyon Theater Guild's production of Pride and Prejudice. And
right?
the thing with that, like, once the COVID hit, like, originally we were doing occasional rehearsal from here and then, but then we couldn't do it. We had no time. We couldn't stage build. We couldn't do any of that shit, and we had to push it back to like originally August and now September because it's just like LA County saying no, you can't open this yet. We have to wait. And but it's getting harder because people are just walking outside and not following instructions. It's
Hard is
irritating.
it? How
Yeah,
hard is it? Like
yeah,
I'm not interested in getting sick,
yeah,
nor is anyone in my family. I'm more concerned that because there's a level of disrespect when you don't
yeah,
wear a mask. It's more so to prevent your spread towards other people, not
yeah,
necessarily people spreading. And I guess it inherently works like that. If you
yeah,
prevent yourself from contaminating others, the others will prevent themselves from contaminating you, and that's wonderful. But the thing is, I just lost my grandpa to COVID, like
right.
on 4th of July.
Mm,
So this
so
is
sorry.
fresh. Like, and I'm doing okay. But the thing is that he was one of the most careful people. He and his wife Pat, who my grandma Pat, who may also have it, but she's a lot younger than him, so she has a little bit more of a chance. You know what I
Right.
mean? And she's
Yeah,
very spry. She's literally Wonder Woman.
yeah,
Anyway, not to get too much into it, but
yeah,
they got excuse me, they got the COVID virus via a caretaker from a service that they had called. And it was a service that I don't think they've used before for like a 24-hour caretaker, just to kind of help with the load.
mhm,
And this caretaker somehow caught it and passed it on somehow. And she was taking every precaution, And at first,
yeah,
I was really bitter, like, how could you be so neglectful if you're dealing with old people? My grandpa was 95. Like, he
yeah,
was already more than at risk. You know what I mean?
right,
So it took me a minute to be like, you know what? As a caretaker, I'm sure that she really tried to take precautions, and she did. And what sucks is that this is like a sleeper agent.
yeah,
It just kind of hits you.
yeah,
And you don't even know you have it until it's too late. And I had to be okay with that. And it's please wear your masks.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah,
Like
no, yeah, for real. Like, even recently, like, with my family, like, my family was like, "We're going to one of our old neighbors' houses for July 4th," and I'm like, "I'm not going. You can do that on your own. I know better."
I respect that, and I'm guilty of going out and hanging out with people in very small quantities. You know, like
Right.
I'll hang out with like one, maybe three others, but we're
Mhm.
all wearing masks. I'm at least wearing gloves. Sometimes I'll wear gloves, but I'm wearing gloves 24/7 because
Yeah,
my mom has asthma. I can't fuck with that.
right,
Part of my language, but like I can't mess with that, and um I really don't want to. I have a body count this year. I do.
right.
My mom just
Yeah,
lost her cousins back in Mexico. Her cousin and the son of her cousin both passed away
right.
from COVID. It's terrible. I didn't
Yeah.
know him, but my mom did, and it's heartbreaking, you know. So
Mhm.
don't. This isn't political.
No,
It's
it's
not
not.
about an invasion of your body or your privacy. It is about protecting your immune system and protecting your loved ones and to do what's right for the good of society.
Yeah.
Because the minute you start turning it into something political, no one's going to listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, hearing that stuff, like, once, like, this bullshit's over, like, you fucking deserve the biggest hug right now. That's gonna be the fucking thing when this is done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
'cause yeah, this fucking yeah, 'cause, it's 2020. 2020's been a fucking crazy year and shit, but,
And it's not even over. At this
no,
point, I'm like, you know what? Hit me with your best shot.
fuck it.
Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, I know where I stand. And at the end of the day, I do what I need to do in order to take care of my family, my friends, and myself. So,
Speaking of taking care and whatnot, like, you've also been you you have formed through running streams on Twitch and various other forms of media, you have formed a community called the Blossom Grove,
yeah.
where you rule as TV Kitty Queen. That's her actual title on the Discord server. I'm not kidding, and interact with your members through gaming or watching movies. So I ask, what are the highlights and lowlights of running your own live streams in Discord? What are the drawbacks and high moments of it?
So, when it comes to Twitch, I have actually been trying to at least do once a week, but considering this month has been kind of tumultuous, I haven't been able to fully succeed in doing that, but I'll be getting back on the bandwagon in the next week or so. I'm just trying to bounce back and breathe.
Yeah.
But on Discord, it's been a lot easier because I'm on there all the time. I love
Mhm.
Discord with a passion, and I'm glad like when they released that video of the new direction that Discord is heading in. They addressed like the future Discord ultimately and what it has evolved to. Like I was literally crying, honey, because
Yeah.
I used it for school. I used it for my friends. I used it for my family. And it's evolved. I've met so many wonderful people. And I think that's one of
Mhm.
the biggest highlights of having a community because you meet new people. Like, there's this viewer that tuned into my stream one day, and now he's in my circle, you know?
Yeah.
There's another viewer that tuned in, and I've been able to be like a big sister to this person,
Yeah.
as well as their friend. And there's this girl. I'm now like the mom figure. Like there are these connections that I just never thought I'd have, and I do have, and I'm so grateful to have.
Yeah.
Like that, it's beautiful. I think that's really what makes this day and age of technology worth it.
Right. Exactly. Like, even just being able to connect to because that's the thing that would always annoy me, my not to get too personal with this, but, like, when communicating with how I socialize or whatever, being frustrated, like, I have been seeing a therapist recently just because of the whole
Good. That's
COVID
always
shit.
good.
Yeah, because because I've just sort of come to the realization that I don't wanna make this too depressing, that I feel like I can't share how I feel about things with my family, and I've told you this before, but it was and shit like that. So I just sort of when I came to that realization, I had to realize what kind of communities I have, and yeah, I do have my Discord. Like, even though my mom, like, she does mean a lot, and she does have the best intentions, and she doesn't. she's not abusive, at least she does have tendencies to, but she's not like that or whatever, and she'll recognize the problem. But the problem, like, the thing is with this, she'll often say, well, like, you don't go out at all. You don't talk to anybody. You don't socialize with anyone. I'm like, yeah, I do. I do online. Well, and then she'll just sort of discredit it, and that would always annoy me. But yeah, what you said definitely confirms that. I definitely think that communities within, no matter where you are, they do mean something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And uh, I in the Jewish culture, uh, when somebody passes away and they get to the pearly gates, God kind of quizzes them, and
Hmm.
He asks a few questions. And one of those questions is, "Did you make any meaningful connections? Did you have tight relationships, tightly knit relationships? Did you get involved with your family and friends?"
Hmm.
And I'd like to believe you and I have made that kind of connection.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that you and your family will make that connection. Whether that be easy or difficult, that's in your precinct, I guess.
Right. But yeah, moving continue speaking of connections, like, one of the main reasons that you and I connected immediately, like, just immediately as soon as I said voiceover and you said that you were into it, I was just like, "I need to be friends with this person immediately." And, like, just especially with, like, and then when you said you then when I said you were when you eventually said you were an advocate for anime duds, I'm like, "Oh my god, why
Yeah,
is this person not my best friend right now?" And I'm like, "Why am I not hanging out with this person more?" Because try to make sense of this.
we're the same.
Try to make sense of this. I'm an extrovert who's fucking terrible at socializing. I don't know how the hell that makes sense.
That makes sense. I think you and I are great at socializing. I think it's just the people that you and I interact with that kind of that's hit or miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, uh, in terms of voiceover, can you tell me the voice actors, both cartoon and anime specifically, not to set the genres, but specifically people who work on Western animation in the West and foreign dubbing that's done usually through Japan? Who influences you the most in those areas? Who are the actors who make you think, I think I can do this?
You know, I first heard a voiceover when I was in, I want to say 7th or 8th grade. I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw fan dub. I was like, "What's a fan dub?" And so I click on it, and it's a clip from an anime that I had recently seen dubbed, like
Mhm.
officially dubbed. I don't remember what it was. Probably, I think it was Kaichou Maid-sama. I think it was that one. And I was a hopeless romantic. I love shows like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just finished it, and I was like, "Aw, so nice." And then somebody had dubbed a clip from like episode 1, and I was like, "Oh, the voices are different. Is this what a fan dub is?" And then I googled it. I was like, "Oh, fan dub, nice." And
Mm.
yeah, fan dub. And then I looked at all these lists, and there's like a whole YouTuber community. And so I found Patrick Seymour, and
Cool guy.
was it Kaichou Maid-sama? I don't know, but he did a fan dub. Or no, it was Toradora. Excuse me, it was
Oh, okay.
Toradora. It was Toradora. I'm sorry, that was a different fan dub I found. Anyway, I digress. So I look at Patrick Seymour's YouTube channel, and it's just like comic dubs and fan dubs and his friends, and I just was like, I'm sold at 3 in the morning, and I have class at 8.
Uh-huh.
Like, I stayed up all night almost just binging fan dubs from different people, and I was like, I want to do this.
Alright.
So it wasn't actually, he was not professional at the time, but he wanted to be. And he was the one that really like got my gears turning. So then I started getting into like, oh, so who voiced this? Who voiced that? So people like Jim Cummings,
Mhm.
he makes me cry every day. I really appreciate Laura Bailey,
Yeah.
especially right now. If you guys have played Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead, excuse me,
Left
The
4 Dead.
Last of Us 2, please show her love. Her her work on this game is substantial. It's beautiful, and as much as the writing is painful, that does not have any relation to her, because her acting in both video game Western animation, Eastern animation. She is really proved to be a very capable actress, along with
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson. And I actually really admire Greta Lyle.
Yeah.
Um, I really look at female voice actors because I'm a female voice actor.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but obviously everyone's like Matt Mercer. He's such a heartthrob, which is true. But I actually genuinely like Matt Mercer's work. Marisha Ray's work, love that. Basically, the entire Critical Role team, like Liam and Sam. Oh my god, and
Yeah.
Taliesin, all
Yeah.
of them, like the entire Critical Role crew. Mwah, c'est magnifique, chef's
Yeah.
kiss. I started getting really into all of the stuff that they've been a part of because they
Yeah.
were a part of the stuff I was into. And then
Yeah.
ultimately, I really wanted to be in a video game, aka Kingdom Hearts. Once I get a role in that, I'm never voice acting again. That's it. Like, that's my favorite video game series of all time. And to land a
Yeah.
role in that, I will literally be peaked. That's it. But the
Yeah.
height of my expectation will now therefore descend.
Wow. Yeah, I get that. I mean, like, yeah, because for me, in terms of inspiration, yeah, that's definitely cool. Like, just having the chance to like meet other voice actresses in general. Like, have you ever met any of your idol? Because I know you're friends with Michelle Marie, who's nifty and has been. And
I like to say we're good acquaintances. We
yeah,
aren't like the best of friends, you know. Like we've been a few times at Anime Expo.
right.
She's a tall gal and she's beautiful. Like her voice is so sweet also, and she's genuinely nice. Like
Mm-hmm.
she is genuinely one of the sweetest people I know. And
Yeah.
her and I haven't really talked at all in the last
Yeah.
few years. But we used to
Yeah.
talk quite a bit back when Skype was a thing.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I get that. Like that was me for a while. Like when I was just I wasn't doing professional work yet. This is before. Now that I'm allowed to say this, this is before Pokemon
Wait,
and all
dude.
that stuff. Yeah, yeah, and I was like one voice actress that I admired was Kira Buckland, and
Oh yeah.
she's the reason why because like she was the first voice actress I learned who had range and could pull off different characters like crazy.
She's incredible. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, and she's super nice, super helpful and stuff. She does not deserve any of the shit that she gets from, like, people. It's just ridiculous, like but, like, she's a
Is
super
she
sweet
getting
person.
anything recently?
Not recently, but, like
Okay. I was like, what did she do?
no, it's not what she's done, it's just people no, it's just, like, people just being assholes to her, you know? Just
Right,
shit like
right.
that, you know? Because like, there was a time where this is a true story, someone just straight up she had this book signing somewhere or whatever. I think it was at a bookstore, and she was with her roommate, Casey, and then some asshole just fucking makes a comment about her weight, and then Casey
Sorry,
shot her down
what?
immediately. Yeah, exactly. Some asshole made a comment about her weight, and then fucking the asshole comes back and apologizes after being called out for it, and his justification is, "Oh, it's like because other people on the internet say that." And I'm like, "Well, dude, you're in real life. You don't say that shit."
Sorry. I don't condone people who have genuinely 1.5, if they're lucky, brain cells. Like
Yeah,
like just people like that are so ignorant and
yeah,
arrogant and pretentious, and they make these preconceived notions that weight matters
yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
acting. It doesn't. I've
No.
seen many plus-sized actors and actresses who participate both on screen, off screen. Like there's a saying, "Oh, you have a face for radio."
Yeah,
Well, that doesn't make sense. What is that? A face for radio? You don't see any. Oh, I get it. But like it's more so the face for radio just means you have that presence where
yeah,
your look just does not influence the entertainment quality of your voice being broadcasted or presented in any kind of media. You know,
yeah,
I think that's the true beauty of voiceover.
right.
There's a level of anonymity, and Matt Mercer has acknowledged this. Excuse me, Matt Mercer has acknowledged this. Hello?
Yeah,
Matt Mercer has also acknowledged this, that there's a level of anonymity. You know, you could be a creature, you could be an alien, you could literally be anything that's otherworldly, and still receive and project an emotional
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful platform, and it's grossly underestimated and underappreciated.
Yeah, it's true, especially because we're still working on this recently. Like, a lot of my voice acting peers, like we've been amidst the whole Black Lives Matter movement, which we're still trying to push against racism and such. This is also a problem. If you ever listen to like any of Bill Butts's interviews, he'll bring this up a lot. This is a constant issue in the performance era, which there's a time and place to discuss this. I'll just to keep things short. There
Right.
is a lot of gatekeeping with
Mm-hmm.
voiceover, and a lot of black actors are not given the same opportunities to audition as many different white actors, and it's just not fair. And we're trying to work on we're trying to push to fix that. And Bill's been really pushing hard, we've been making some progress. There have been people who have been listening, but others who are just not willing to work with. And we're trying to discuss things. But yeah, that's a discussion for another time. Anywho, to move things
No,
to sorry.
oh, no, you're good. Just because that's so relevant today, it
Right,
doesn't.
exactly.
I don't understand any of that. Like, I hear what you're saying,
Mhm.
but why is that still an issue?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you guys are equally as talented as any person of any other race.
Mhm.
Ultimately, what casting directors are looking for is authenticity and the ability to be a chameleon. And that's
Exactly.
that's really at the core what a lot of casting agencies are looking for.
Right.
And so the fact that there are still, again, these preconceived notions that that the physical appearance of an actor matters. Like, how
Yeah,
cool is it to be one kind of person and play someone who's completely the opposite, B, not even the same species?
exactly.
Or if you're trying to portray a certain stereotype, what is it that you have to cast, like typecast? Typecast is so dumb because it's
Right.
crippling to anyone's career. But
Mhm.
anyway, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of, and just to move on to a bit more of a lighter topic, we both you and I, like, we're only like a year apart from each other, like 22, 21, 23, 22, shit like that. I'm losing track of time because quarantine's driving me nuts. What I'm saying is
You're good.
what I'm saying is we were from the same generation. I'm assuming
Hmm.
Z, if I get that correct.
I don't know. I don't keep track.
I don't know. It's like fucking 94 and 95. No one ever fucking keeps track. Anyway, so this was during our time. We were alive before social media was a thing. We were alive when kids played computer games like Pajama Sam, Flash games like
Yeah.
Disney Surf Dwell
Do
Online.
y'all
Online.
remember Tank Wars?
Yeah. Fucking okay, so
Oh my god.
flashback to the early 2000s. What were your favorite computer games and websites to visit?
Okay. If any of you guys remember Wild Tagnet, it was built into a lot of the pre-built computers that you could go buy at Blockbuster. That's
Yeah.
old too.
Oh.
No, but you would walk into like a Walmart or a Best Buy and buy a computer tower with a monitor. Like it all came in one kit, right? They
Yeah.
don't anymore. But so my parents bought me my first computer and I was probably 10.
Okay.
And I would click open the Wild Tagnet app and there's this game called Fate.
Mhm.
And it was a top-down uh RPG.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I explicitly remember I had to like buy a dog that could help kill enemies for me. If I could find the picture, I will send it to you. Like, I
Okay.
played this game for hours before I ever found out about like other computer games,
Uh-huh.
and I played that all the time. If we're
Got it.
talking old school, then the Disney Flash games, like you mentioned, those are priceless.
Wow. I think the oldest computer I ever had, like, I've had a computer since, like, I was really little and, like, even younger than you are. So, fucking probably when I was cognizant, like, maybe when I was 3 or
Fuck
something.
this.
And it was we had this, it was a Mac computer, one of those, like, one of the oldest Mac computer, not like the shitty 80s ones, but the one, like, it was the one where, like, they were desktop, color coded, and it
Yes,
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then, like, I fucking played like, it ran like shit, like, the RAM was terrible when we had it,
Oh
but,
god.
like, but we were still playing games, like, I played fucking that Spider-Man video game, the one with, Darren Norris's Venom that was on the PS1. We had a PC port of that, but somehow we were able to make it work. We were make it work. Then we had this other game that was super nostalgic called Load Runner 2, which came on the Mac, I guess. And basically, it's a top-down game where you just run around and you fucking fall in pits and you try to avoid these gooey people, otherwise you disintegrate. And it took me years to remember what the fuck was that game. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Load Runner. I remember that shit. And then, of course, there's Humongous Entertainment. Those games are always super nostalgic, like Backyard Baseball or fucking Pajama Sam, shit like that. And
Do you remember it was like Type to Learn?
Type to Learn.
And it was like
Yeah.
this hippie in outer space that would teach you how to type. Or Mavis Beacon. Do you remember any of those typing programs where you learned how to type on the keyboard?
I remember there were 2 ones that we had at school. There was obviously the one that many people know, Mario Teaches Typing, but it didn't our version didn't have that creepy Mario head that talked. We didn't have
Oh
that one,
god. I
but
didn't even have that.
we had and there was another game that was also in the computer lab for our old elementary school. We had this Timon and Pumbaa game that was also
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my god. That
yeah.
literally might snap my neck. I have that much whiplash.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Oh
like
my gosh.
I'd see people play the typing game, and there was a game where where Pumbaa would shoot things out of a pipe with I guess bugs or something, and then you'd get points or something. I don't remember the exact point of it, but it was nostalgic because it was Disney, and I was crazy into that movie because I'd
Absolutely.
watch it all the time on VHS. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing that died, VHS.
Oh, I have a collection of VHS tapes. Not my personal collection rather, but it's more so the VHS tapes that have survived that are just hiding in a shelf in
Yeah,
a downstairs closet.
right.
Yeah, we have this room that we call the office, and it's basically, like a desk and the computer and it's where the internet is. And
Mhm.
there's like a bookshelf, kind of like I don't know if an alcove is like the right word, but it's like a little corner of the office that has bookshelves. And we had this tiny VHS TV and 2 small chairs. And my sister and I would take a VHS, pop it in, have a snack, and watch a movie.
Right.
And we turned that into our like little club hangout meeting space.
Yeah.
And VHS tapes, man, like the Disney sing along thing videos and any of the Disney movies that were on VHS. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Great times, great times.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking speaking and of course, like, before smartphone like, I in doing research for this, I also ran into a recent discovery, because whenever I do research on stuff from my childhood, I go down this rabbit hole of nostalgia, and then I remember some things that just some toys that existed that just don't match up with time anymore. Before smartphones, like, because with smartphones, your iPhone or Android, whatever the hell you have, you can just pull up a YouTube video and just watch that, and obviously it's a phone, so you can talk to people and take pictures with it. Before then, Hasbro had the Chat Now and Video Now. Chat Now was basically a walkie-talkie that masqueraded as a cell phone, but it wasn't really a cell phone. You just took pictures with it, and you talked on it with a limited distance. And then Video Now was a portable video device that you put DVDs in, and then you you fucking watch that shit. And yeah, that was something. But then, hey, iPhone came along and said, "I'm about to ruin this toy's whole career."
No, it's more so like Apple came in and was like, hold my beer. No,
Oh,
legit. I remember those little cards. They were like these plastic toy looking cards. And you would put them into these like little electronic players and
mhm.
you could hear the music. And they gave these things out in like a kids meal, right?
Yeah.
I forget what they're called, but I remember those before an iPod Nano. Oh god. I'm just remembering all of the I think the reason why everything feels so nostalgic is because the evolution of technology happened so fast within our lifespan.
Plus, it's been technically 20 years, so that's kind of the
23 at the oldest in terms of this conversation, because I'm 23.
yeah,
Like,
same thing.
yeah, okay, so we're not even that far apart.
Nope.
No, but technology evolved so fast in terms of like kids entertainment. Since we're on that subject, sort of.
Yeah.
I remember having a Kid Pix
Okay.
or whatever those are called. Like it was like a little media player. Or was it
Uh-huh.
Video Now? I think that's what you were called. You called it a Video Now. Kid Pix is the computer software for art.
Yeah, KidPix was like sort of like Mario Paint, but for computers, if I recall.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I spent hours on that thing. No, but when Apple came out with the iPod Nano, my cousin, my mom's cousin, my second cousin, she bought one for me for my birthday, and at the time they were moderately priced, so
Uh-huh.
it was very cool, a privilege, if you will. And I kept up to date with the iPod Nanos, and then when the iPod Nano became the iPod that had the long screen and came in all those colors,
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling my parents, "Can I have one, please, or I will cry."
Oh.
And they should have told me no. And then for Christmas, I was like, "Yay!" Uh, and then I remember when the iPod Touches came out.
Uh-huh.
I got an old iPod Touch, saved up, got it. And then I got the newest generation, and I went to an IKEA with my mom.
Uh-huh.
I sat down on a bed. It was in my back pocket. It wasn't on it or anything. I sat down on a bed because you can test out the mattresses there, I guess.
Yeah.
And I sat down, got up, walked away. Realized I didn't have my iPod in my pocket. So I bolt back to the bed I sat down on. And this was maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I really didn't realize I had it until I checked my pocket because I wanted to listen to music, right? And so I go back, I check everywhere.
Oh no.
Someone took it.
Oh no.
Never saw it again.
Oh.
I felt so bad. And then I had to wait until, I guess, the most recent version of the iPod Touch, except several years ago.
Yeah.
Like the design, rather, like the form factor for the newest looking one. I think that one,
Yeah.
that was the last one I had, and I have it, and it's sitting in a drawer,
Yeah.
dead, because I have technology. A cell phone.
Exactly. Yeah. We got that. We got our
Yeah.
fucking phones. Exactly.
Yeah, like
And
so everything like that is obsolete, but look at how fast it got obsolete, really.
yeah. Fucking okay. And then as far as technology goes, speaking of technology, your TV kitty avatar is just very
Yeah.
eye-catching, and it fits your personality quite well.
Cute.
Like she just like I had a fun time drawing her, especially like granted there are a few parts of it I couldn't fit in, and also like when I was doing the avatar for it, I was doing it top down. Uh, like I was sort of scared to. I may have made her a bit more endowed, just slightly. I don't know. I was a bit nervous about that.
Listen, she can be endowed, not endowed. It don't matter.
Yeah,
As long as her likeness is not inappropriate, we're good.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, when it comes to this particular character specifically, if this avatar, this character were to have her own world to explore, like in gaming, anime, comics, or whatever, what kind of adventures would she go on? And also, what's your headcanon voice for her?
Oh, those are good questions. I feel like uh she would be a character that would be a chameleon kind of character. Like if she was this young girl from modern day America, right?
Uh-huh.
And to have some form of escapism, kind of like Ready Player One,
Yeah.
except it's, you know what? No, I'll call it Ready Player One.
Okay.
Like she would literally be in Ready Player One, except with better games.
Yeah.
uh, you know, her. And you know, like in Kingdom Hearts, where Sora goes from world to world, and he has a different outfit or
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
That's what my kitty avatar would do.
Yeah.
She would just have a different form to kind of blend in and just kind of go on escapades, meet characters from beloved video game franchises, and uh, kind of like Dragon Tales. You know,
Okay.
she'll kind of go in and out like that. You know, I imagine something in that vein. I've never really thought about it, but I feel like if I could develop it more, I think it would be really cool to explore.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
And then the other one was the voice, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't have a filter or a you know, like voice mod, the
Yeah.
application. I
Yeah.
don't have a voice mod right now, but I imagine she would sound similar to like I would say my voice slightly higher and digitized.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that, but like fucking like she'd sound like Daft Punk, like if she spoke, like just cause like cause you have that singer personality
Very
in you.
similar. Oh
Yeah, just
yeah.
like hello, I'd have a way to get back around here. Where's that Sora? He's some like just fucking
That would be
singing shit.
fun. That would be very fun. I feel like if she were to get sucked into like a a a world kind of that kind of speech pattern is normal, that'd be
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, just
That'd be
fucking
very cool.
yeah, just like fucking next time you fucking get into a stream, just like bring in voice mod or whatever, and then just fucking surprise your guests like, "Hello, everybody." It's just like everyone's going, "Whoa,
But now
what the
that I have
fuck?"
a beefy computer, I can actually handle it.
Yay! Speaking of beefiness and big love, uh, fucking one of your as you mentioned earlier in this, one of your biggest favorite franchises is Kingdom Hearts. I've known that for a long. Like you were big into the series. You listen to the songs all the time. You love playing the games. You love to quote the
God.
games, especially when you put it in your bots. You say like, "Friendship is my power." You're a super fan, basically, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
And
I wish I had the money to be considered a super fan. I'll be right honest with you. I
okay,
wish. Like I mean in my heart and in my mind I'm a super fan, but my pockets say otherwise.
all right. And in spite of Kingdom Hearts' admittedly very complicated story, you still stick
Mhm.
with it. So and so I
I'm
say
afraid
this,
of what you're gonna ask.
if you were to if you were to convince a friend who's never played Kingdom Hearts before, what would be the easiest and hardest thing to sell?
Okay, I've actually attempted this. My best friend, she's a diehard Legend of Zelda fan,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan. And we kind of came to the agreement: if I play the Zelda games, will you play Kingdom Hearts? And I tried out Majora's Mask,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, cool, I get it, I see the appeal. But because it was on her DS, you know, I couldn't just like borrow her DS. You
Mhm.
know, and I wasn't about to buy my own copy if I'm just gonna waste my money and just play it for 2 hours and be like, okay, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I have played Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks and the Breath of the Wild game, which
Yeah.
was peak. I loved it.
Right.
So I shared that with her, and then because she doesn't have the PS4 or PS2 rather, to kind of get started, I just said, dude, legit, and this was before Corona,
Right.
BC. I straight up told her, hey, come over and play the game, and I sat her down at my desk, which is where at the time my TV was.
Uh-huh.
And I sat her down, put her on Kingdom Hearts 1, and then I just let her play. And then she's like, "Oh, crap, I see the appeal." And I was like, "Yeah, it's fun." And
Mhm.
she got pretty far, and then it kind of like fell out.
Right.
So, she hasn't continued Kingdom Hearts and I haven't continued Zelda. But my
Yeah.
point being, like, there's the appeal, and what sold her was that the game mechanics were fun and the characters were likable,
Mhm.
and the animation and the cutscenes and the storyline were pretty coherent
Right.
and not difficult to follow. Obviously, there were some things that I had to clarify, like what are the laws that this world takes place in. Like,
Yeah.
what is a Heartless? And yes, I do explain that, but not really all that well until Kingdom Hearts 2, which a lot of people were like, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best game in the franchise. I'm like, yes, it's very, very good and has set the standard. But there's all these other side title games that are pretty good too.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people get really turned off with the fact that there's a lot of console exclusives. So
Yeah.
like that's why I really appreciated it when Square Enix started porting it to all the games on those HD remixes, like 1.5, 2.5, 2.8.
Yeah.
So you can have these games on one console. Like if you had a PS4, for example, which I'm very fortunate to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to have them all consolidated, I'll tell you what, it makes playing these games so much easier. And I think that's another selling point, you know? Just the accessibility and the fact that they're just now making it for Xbox console users.
Mm-hmm.
About time. So I think it's just more so having the access rather than the storyline being too convoluted.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, and then it makes me wonder, like, what kind of things, what kind of things Square will have in mind once the Seto Kaiba simulator that is the the PlayStation 5 comes out. We'll
Oh
see
my
what
god, the Kaiba simulator.
Yeah, 'cause
Dude,
that's yeah, 'cause
when
it
they
was yeah.
released it, it looked like a freaking router. It
Yeah,
looked like a router.
I know. But hey, Miles Morales, fucking Resident Evil
I'm
8.
so excited for the new Spider-Man game. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Oh,
the
man.
man, the first Spider-Man game, if y'all haven't played it, play it. It is so good. It is worth it. And the DLC, I believe, is uh not that expensive. I think the base game plus the DLC is the cost of buying a brand new other game.
Yeah,
It,
and
like in the
yeah,
$60 range. And that's everything. And that's a lot of content. Friggin'
yeah.
Spider-Man is so open world, man.
Right.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It
I
is.
recommend it.
To quote IGN's many reviews, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. It just makes you feel like
It
Spider-Man.
absolutely it does, it does. Like when you thwip around New York. I remember I had a live stream on Twitch and I called it Let's Thwip. And I was like, "What the heck are you saying?" I was like, "Oh, that's it's the sound effect of the webs. Thwip, 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 thwip."
Oh god, if you ever play fucking X-Men Origins Wolverine, like you're like your fucking slogan should just be "Let's snicked," and then people will be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" That's the sound his claws make.
Like if any of y'all read the comics, the sound effects, like boom, kaplow, nicked, thwip. Same thing, same energy.
It sounded like for a second there, it sounded like you were reaching into Woody Allen reading sound effects.
You know, I can't be Woody Allen, but thank
Oh.
you for the compliment.
I was afraid of how you would take that because I realized, oh god, how did I say that? I was like, oh god, don't take the wrong way.
You're fine.
I was like,
You're fine.
take a thwip, take a snick, just plow, just fucking shit like that.
Kaplow, kaplow. I wish I could do a good Christopher Walken. I wish I could do a good Christopher Walken. uh, I really wish I could do like impressions, but that is one of my weaknesses when it comes to like voice over work.
Fucking I mean, if there were ever like, there's this anime I watched recently. I told you about the show. If Lovely Complex ever got an English dub, because Discotek owns the license to it, but they haven't made a dub of it at all. If it ever got to LA, and if I was director, I would fucking like at least have you audition for it, because I think you could pull off Risa pretty well.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, the super
Actually,
tall girl. Yeah,
I really want to start participating more actively in voiceover. It's just I'm in school.
yeah,
So I know some people work while going to school, but like I just want school out of my life. I'm over
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So once that's out of
Yeah,
the way, I'm gonna be like 110%.
yeah. The thing
But
I
I
definitely
mean, I won't shy away from projects though. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah, I would definitely recommend like being a part of like community, like you're doing now, you're already on a good sign. Definitely meet up with communities that will definitely help you out in any way you can. Like friggin' like the reason why I got Pokemon was because I met Bill Butts and he had me join his community, and then my demo got sent to Laura Post, and that's how I booked that job. And it really is just about who you know and what you do. Like, if there's ever, like, a thing or
Absolutely.
whatever, I'll definitely, like, have y like, if there's ever when the world isn't on fucking fire, especially right now, like, literally, it is on fire right now, at
Mhm.
least as far as our hometown right now, I'll make sure that, like, that I
Hook a
introduce
sister
you.
up, man. Hook a
Yeah, I'll
sister
have you
up.
I'll hook you up with my friends, like, I'll fucking say, "Hey, is it okay if I bring my friend Tori with me?" Because like,
Yo,
fucking
I'm down.
yeah, exactly. Just do that shit, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I'm
like I won't shy away from a project. You know, like if it's like a quick thing, if you guys need like a Foley or an NPC or whatever, you know,
yeah, exactly.
I can do filler.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, like many people's Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt said this in their book, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So you've definitely got
That
so yeah, you'll definitely have a lot of time to prepare, and when the
of
opportunity comes,
yeah.
you'll be ready to kick ass.
Yeah, oh, thank you. I really appreciate your encouragement. And
Of
Kai,
course.
like, I'll just add, like, you have worked so hard and have been so kind, and I think that the universe is honoring that by giving you those two roles that you landed in Pokemon Twilight. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah. And let's see here. How long do we have left? Okay. So, oh yeah, with this another next question. Now that I brought you up, allow me to embarrass you with
Oh
asking this
Lord.
question. You like to go to conventions down in LA when we were allowed to, and
Yeah.
and fun place like it's a fun place where you get to meet anime fans like yourself and meet actors you admire, whatever.
Mm.
And I'm sure you told me this story before, but with all that said, can you please tell me about a time where you made a fool of yourself in front of someone you admired?
Oh no. So I was really and this is my favorite anime of all time, Gurren Lagann.
Uh huh.
And I just finished it for the third time. And
Yeah.
there's this convention in downtown LA, but it wasn't. It was more. It was like it was near LAX. It was at the LA Marriott.
Yeah.
This was a separate convention. It was Anime Los Angeles,
Mhm.
and I it was maybe my first, no, my second convention
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
And I found out that the actor who played Kamina, Kyle Lebert, was going to be there. So my dumbass looked for the panel,
Mhm.
and I missed the panel, but I caught him walking out. And I fangirled so hard. It was cringy. And I asked for a hug and a picture. And I didn't know about etiquette at the time because it
Mhm.
was just me and my mom. And my mom doesn't know anything either, or at the time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it was so embarrassing. And I told them, yeah, you inspire me. I want to be a voice actor. It's going to be so cool. Maybe someday we'll be in the book together. Oh my God. And I felt so embarrassed now looking back because I'm like, girl, chill. And I looking back, I remember his face. He looked so awkward. He looked very uncomfortable, and I didn't get it. I felt so bad. Like to this day, if Kyle ever hears this podcast at some point in time, Kyle, I'm so sorry. If you ever remember the girl with the green and red cosplay schoolgirl outfit who was absurdly fangirling over you, I'm so sorry for making you feel awkward and uncomfortable, and I hope that we can be friends.
For real. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh god. I mean, I relate to that. I feel that way whenever I interact with Lauren Landa. Like I always feel like I say something stupid or whatever, but that's just me being socially anxious. Like I overthink my answers way too much. And like she's the nicest person ever, but like for whatever reason, I internalize that as like, oh, she thinks you're a creep or whatever. And that's not true, but it's just, that's just me being anxious and shit. So, but
No,
yeah,
I totally get that.
they're just normal people. Everyone's weird in their own way. Everyone makes silly mistakes. It's just common sense. And even if you do wear them out, as long as you're not, like kissing them on the lips, as long as you're not
Oh
having,
Lord.
as long as you're not, physically assaulting or doing anything rude or whatever, as long as you're not insulting their body image, you're fine.
Just be a good, decent human being. That's all we're asking. That's all we're
Exactly.
asking.
Yeah, just have common sense. Exactly.
See,
Like
a lot of people lack that, but
so I think the next thing I'll do to close this off, whether in your creative life or your personal life, what was the most difficult thing you've gone through and how'd you overcome it?
in my personal life,
Or creative life?
um, I think in this particular instance, they're kind of overlapping. Um, this year, I really wanted to try and be productive and grow my artwork, take on commissions and participate in graphic design and participate more in my streams in terms of just going live more often.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to continue to just, nurture what I was trying to cultivate last year.
Right.
And going into this year, it's been very rough because I've lost my grandma, my Uncle Charlie, my Aunt Sil, my cat, my Papa Paul today or the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom's two cousins. That's 7 people. So and there was little reprieve, and it was almost like we're in the 7th month of this year and I've lost 7 people. So it was like each month had given me another hill to climb that prevented me from participating more in the things that I wanted to participate in. And I was taking some theater classes to just kind of flex the acting muscle or to, you know, uh, kind of brush up on some old techniques so that way when I go into university, it's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to drop out of college so often. I wanted to ditch Twitch and I wanted to ditch Discord. I wanted to ditch art entirely. And then it just kind of came to like this really low point where I had to make a decision. Do I let my loss prevent me from seeking my goals and dreams, really, or do I just sulk and let the grief overwhelm me and continue to keep me from reaching people that may need a pick me up, that may need a friend, a mother,
Yeah.
a sister figure? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it took it took basically up until this point. It was like every loss I had to ask myself that question.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I thought if I lost my grandpa this year, I was just gonna fall off the map. That's it. But God has a funny way of changing my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna get religious or anything, but I am an avid Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very strong Christian, and I believe that every time I had a loss, that there was like this peace, undescribable peace that I had, and this comfort that allowed me to not be numb and to not fall off the map. It allowed me to push forward and to continue creating content that was healing to me. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be the opposite because there's this pressure of being entertaining, of being available for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it had the opposite effect with me. I made myself available and shared my pain with people, and I just got nothing but love and comfort and people wanting to be there. And it is such a beautiful thing, to be a content creator, an artist, and a human, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that is the personal and creative obstacle that is the most relevant right now.
Yeah. It's
And
very powerful.
thank you. You know, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you're so strong." Well, in my belief, I believe that my God, my Savior, gave me that peace, that comfort, and that tenacity to not succumb to the depression that follows loss.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. And just and also minor and anyone who's seen Steven Universe, like this also it does very remind me of like because I've through this quarantine I had time to finish up Steven Universe Future and
Great,
just
a great
and
show, by the way. Great show.
exactly and I do think like in a lot of ways you do like just what you told me is very similar like because I feel like both of us we want to like help people and we always want to like desire community and be around others, but the thing is what's very difficult about that is that, like, when those communities start to dilate, especially with this quarantine, like, you start to look inwardly a lot more, and you start to realize some of the
Absolutely.
things that you're going through, and that's totally normal. Like, the thing like, with my therapist that I recently talked to about, they're saying, like, uh, he said something around the lines of, "The idle hands are the devil's hands," or something like that. Like
Idle hands are the devil's handiwork.
yeah, that exactly, and it
I'm
just
pretty sure that's how it goes.
yeah, that phrase, and something about being productive, like, you gotta make sure you're being productive, but still just not isolating yourself because then your mind starts to wander, and yeah, like, the main reason I start again, just bringing this back again, the main reason I went to therapy, well, not went to, mainly over online chat because that's how we're doing it, is that I needed some sense of community. I needed to feel like I could reach out to others and be heard. And I just want to say, like, because my biggest frustration was I felt like I wasn't being heard. But hey, I just want to say right now, you and all the listeners here, we hear you, we love you, and we wish you the best possible thing possible for your future.
Oh, thank you, Kai. Oh, you sap. Stop. You're crying. I'm not.
I wish I could cry. I wish I could cry easily, but unfortunately, like
Oh,
my body
I'm a
doesn't.
big crier.
Yeah.
And I think that's like what's also like, don't be afraid to cry.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not that I'm afraid, I'm designed like Shigeo Mob for, like, anyone who's seen Mob Psycho
oh,
100,
I love Mob Psycho.
I
It's
need
so good.
I have to take emotional damage and reach 100% in order to cry, that's how it is, like, I'll
That's
feel sad
completely fair.
yeah, that's how it is, but yeah. Yeah, you were heard, you were loved, and you were respected, that's what I gotta say to that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, you're such a good friend, Kai.
I mean, I try, but we don't we I my only I mean, I wish I could be better, I wish I could talk to you more, but, I suck at that, I need to work on that.
Listen, I'm low maintenance. Don't worry.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hmm.
Is there anything you want to share with the audience? Any last bits of advice or anything that you want to share with everybody?
Uh, don't be afraid to cry. If you can't cry, make yourself cry. It is the ultimate form of catharsis, and you owe it to yourself. That is self care. Also, love your friends, love your family. Tell them you care about them because you never know if one day you say it, it may change their life. Also, if you are too afraid to start doing something that you've been wanting to start, like starting YouTube channel or creating something, just do it. It doesn't have to be good the first try because that is what evolution and character development are for. You got this. I have faith in you. Even if I don't know you directly, just know that you are loved by me. God loves you. And if you need anyone in your corner, you know where to find me.
All right. Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for our show. Thank you for listening. And remember to wear your strangeness and nerdy heart with pride. Take care.